Let's talk about for the last time in the local our guy, Mr. DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is officially a member of the Sacramento Kings. He signed I think it's 3 year. Actually, I don't have the contract in front of me, which is pretty fucking hilarious. The nigga signed for a lot of money. the nigga signed for a lot of money. I think it's like a 3 year deal. I know it was a trade, a 3-team trade that happened for the Kings to be able to create space to get in. Also, because the Bulls didn't want to take on any added contracts. They're obviously on the road to trying to rebuild and be all in for Cooper Flag. And I was gonna talk about it today.
Jag for Flag.
Hey man, I was
Jag
gonna talk about that
pause.
nigga today. I'm gonna wait till next week when we got the full crew. But hey man, I seen enough.
Jag
Jag
for
for
Flag.
Flag. Pause.
Pause.
Because
Yeah.
that nigga, man, yeah. So they didn't want to take on contracts. They got two second rounders from the Sacramento Kings, which they definitely need. And a very underrated part of this trade, Harrison Barnes is going to the Spurs. Now the Spurs, to me, just put together a team that I believe they can win 40 games. With having Harrison Barnes on there, this Spurs team wasn't as bad as their record showed last year. They won a whole bunch of games. Wemby was amazing. You got year 2 Wemby with Popovich and Chris Paul. As much as I can't stand that State Farm agent, he's going to help Wemby out tremendously. And also, I think Chris has been waiting to be coached by a coach the caliber of Greg Popovich. So I think adding Harrison Barnes, that they can be a 40-win, maybe even a play-in team. So that's good for them. But what do you think about DeMar's fit with the Kings now? They have them a little baby big three with DeMar, Domantas Sabonis, and De'Aaron Fox. And obviously, DeMar called rank because he's wearing number 10 and Sabonis is giving that number up. So what do you think about DeMar in Sac?
I'll say this: you don't want to play this team and have to deal with crunch time. Because if you let the stats tell it and the award tell it, you're dealing with two of the most clutch players in the NBA, and DeMar DeRozan and De'Aaron Fox. So you don't want to be in a close game in the fourth quarter going up against these two right here, because you're probably not going to win if you look at the numbers. I love the fit. I think that not only that the Kings needed a vet, they needed somebody like DeMar. They needed somebody that's a vet that won in this league and can still play in this league. He might be gearing closer to the downside of his career, but if you look at his last couple of years with the Bulls, he's been a high caliber player. So I love this fit for the team. He's not gonna play a lot of defense. Let's
Nah.
get that out the way right now. He ain't gonna play a lot of defense, but just don't worry about this team in the fourth quarter because they have the arms and the legs to get it done. So I'm excited. I am a Kings fan. I thought that this team was on the cusp. But at the same time, I did predict that they was going to have a down year this year because people are going to catch up. But now you have somebody like DeMar on this team and not necessarily lose much. You lose a Harrison Barnes. It's an upgrade. So I am excited to see what's going to happen with this team going forward in this new kind of retooled Western Conference.
Yeah, and I like it too because now you're actually gonna see DeMar with spacing, something the nigga did not have in Chicago. They have 3-point shooters, man. They just re-signed Malik Monk. They got a lot of good guys on that team. And you brought up the fourth quarter thing. I think that's gonna help tremendously because I think unlike him and Zach, who are I won't say kind of the same player, they're not, but they kind of play the same position a little bit. De'Aaron is a point guard, and De'Aaron's been incredible in the fourth quarter, and they're gonna be able to bounce off each other. And I think that's gonna be really great for them. I think that DeMar it's gonna be perfect for him. He's gonna be, even though Sacramento's not Los Angeles, but he's back in his home state. And he's gonna be out there just being relaxed and being able to hoop more, and he has a chance to win. And what I mean by win is to get in the playoffs, win a series. Like they're not a championship contender. They're not in the Denver, OKC, Dallas type tier.
But see, Scott, I'm not going to quite agree with you.
Okay.
The only reason why is because I think that I think that because of what the NBA was trying to achieve, which is NFL type parity, I think that's where they was going. I think for a number of teams on the East and the West, it's a crapshoot because one of the things that we've seen is injury take place here. For example, the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks was a 6 seed and they ended up in the finals. That
That's
shouldn't have
true.
took place. But at the same time, when you don't have big threes on every teams and things are not even, an injury or two here or there, then you can find yourself in the Eastern or the Western Conference Finals. So I do believe that with this move, they move into one of those teams that can at least get to the Western Conference Finals, depending on how the dice roll. And with injuries and all of those things, and some of those teams like the Clippers is not going to be as good as they were last year,
Yeah, I don't know.
and
I
that
don't know
says a
what the
lot.
Clippers are doing. Yeah.
Right, and that says a lot because they was they was a 4th, 5th seed. So you're gonna see some teams take a step down. You're gonna see some teams move up, and you have teams like Dallas. I mean, as much as I love Clay, I don't know how that fit is gonna be between Clay, Luka, and Kyrie. That's gonna be very interesting because he's with 2 ball dominant players.
Yeah.
Like they are ball dominant. They don't want to pass you the ball if they don't have to. So he gonna have to play the Dale Curry role for
Oh
real.
yeah. I think he's gonna be a spot up shooter
Yeah,
because
he's a
one
spot up
nigga can't
shooter.
dribble no more. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
you bring a good point. They can kind of take the Clipper spot right there, even the Mavs spot. 'Cause I do believe the Mavs bounce up into that elite tier in the West now. I'm not really too worried about Clay as far as fit. I'm worried about whether Clay gonna make shots, but his style of game, I think he's gonna be a corner 3-point shooter, which he basically is.
when
Now.
his
The nigga
ass is
can't
over there at the
guard.
corner doing this,
Yeah,
and Kyrie out here trying to out dribble somebody, and Luka mad because somebody ain't called no foul, we'll see. Hey, when you on a team where you just know where everybody's gonna be at a certain time, now you're going to a whole new. It's going to be an adjustment. So, because of those things, I can see the Kings being a top 5 seed at the very least.
well, I think they were a 2 seed year before this, so I definitely
Yep.
think that in order for Mike Brown to keep his job, that definitely has to happen. But yeah, I like the move. I actually like the move for all 3 teams. The Bulls needed picks. And the Spurs get Harrison Barnes. That's a good piece for them. And DeMar goes to the Kings. Man, the only thing that kind of I won't say annoyed me, but we're seeing the effects of a hit song where we're doing corny things, but not like us. With a little video with the owner of the Kings said, "Yeah, they're not like us." Like, and
Oh yeah.
the corny joke that Serena made, even though I will allow it. She had possession of the ball when it crossed the pylon. She has a personal vendetta with Drake, so we'll let and she from Compton.
But the Caucasian co-op is on the way.
The Caucasian co-op, what is
The
that?
cau- they about to co-opt the movement, the not like us movement.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
The Caucasian co-op is on
Yeah,
the
when
way.
you get a
fam.
number 1 song, that happens. It's expected to be back to being number 1 on the Billboard chart on Monday. So, yeah, man. But I like the move for that, man.
Hey, real quick, because I saw a couple of people throw out some list of where DeMar fits all time on the Bulls. I saw somebody rank him as 9th. I can't remember who it was.
What,
Shit,
like
it was
as far as
probably
like
Hood.
all-time Bulls?
Yeah, it's probably Hood that says.
Well, I know
but
Hood said that he's second in Bulls and second points per game in Bulls history. Only MJ was higher at 30 points per game. I mean, he's already on my top. He's on my top 5 favorite Bulls list. That's the thing about the Bulls, as Pavi said 4 years ago, which I hated, but when the nigga's right, they don't have that many legendary players. It's not a lot. It's Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Rodman, D-Rose, nigga. Like,
I mean, the OGs will tell you Artis Gilmore, Chet Walker, and all of those people. So I mean, I want to give respect to the OGs. I don't want to
respect to the OGs.
Before Orlando say something, them niggas is way older than me, my nigga. Like,
yeah,
my middle name. I wasn't named after Artis Gilmore, but my middle name is that nigga name. So, and I wasn't around to see that nigga hoop. So don't try it, Orlando.
That paper on this player haters old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna